Hi, I'm Elizabeth. Thank you for joining me today. We'll start today's practice at the top of the mat. You might like to have a block today, but it's not necessary. When you get to the top of the mat, bring your hands together at your heart. Let the eyes soften or close. And bring your awareness to the soles of the feet where they meet the mat. Weight is heavy in the heels. The toes are spread wide. Arches are lifted. Lift the knees so the quads engage. The tailbone is heavy. Draw the belly in, float the chest up. Gently draw the shoulders together, relax them down on the back. Lengthen the back of the neck. Float the crown of the head up towards the sky. Get an inch taller. Then bring your awareness to the breath. Feel it fill the space of the rib cage, the torso. Watch as it moves in and out of the body. And we'll mark the beginning of the practice chanting Om one time together. Take a deep breath in. Continue to hear the sound of Om in your mind. Let it connect you to those who are doing this practice with you, even if not at the same time or in the same place. Blink your eyes open. We'll move through sun salutations. We'll move slowly through the first round. As you inhale, reach the arms up and back, stretch through the front of the body. Exhale, draw the belly in, fold over the legs. Touch the hands to the mat. You can bend the knees here if you need to. On your next inhale, step the right foot back, lower the knee, look up. Draw the belly in so you feel a stretch in the front of the right hip. You can come onto the fingertips here. Step the left foot back to a plank. Draw the belly in, reach the heels back, float the chest forward. On your next exhale, take the knees, the chest, and the chin to the mat. Hug the belly towards the spine, lift the hips high. If that's too much to have the chin on the mat, you can just take the forehead to the mat. On your next inhale, come into cobra. Draw the chest forward and up. Pull the elbows back. Press the hands down to help this action. Lift the knees. Point the toes. Moving into downward facing dog on your exhale. Tuck the toes, lift the hips. Press the hips high. Strong through the arms. On your next inhale, right foot steps forward between the hands. Lower the back knee. Look up. Exhale, left foot steps up to meet the right. Inhale, press the feet down, bring the palms together, sweep up to standing. Exhale, hands together at the heart. Inhale, reach up. Repeating, left side moves first this time. Exhale, fold. Inhale, left foot steps back, lower the knee, look up, draw the belly in. Right foot steps to plank. Exhale, lower knees, chest, and chin to the mat. Inhale, heart forward and up, cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot steps forward. Right knee lowers. Look up. Exhale, right foot steps up to meet the left, fold over the legs. Inhale, press through the feet, sweep up. Exhale, hands together at the heart. One more time each side, moving a little bit faster. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, right foot steps back, lower the knee. Left foot to plank. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right foot steps up. Exhale, left foot steps. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Pranamasana. One more time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Uttanasana. Inhale, left foot steps back. Right foot steps back. Exhale, lower knees, chest, and chin. Inhale, Bhujangasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, left foot steps. Exhale, right foot. Inhale, Hasta Uttanasana. Exhale, Pranamasana. Bring everything back together. Bend the knees, drop the hips. Coming into Utkatasana, fierce pose. You can leave the hands right here where they are, or reach them overhead. Palms can be wide or touching. Draw the belly in, let the hips sink even more. Lift the chest. If the arms are up, really straighten them. Reach through the fingertips. Draw the biceps back. On your next exhale, release the arms. Keep everything else where it is. Interlace the hands behind you at the base of the spine. Draw shoulder blades and elbows together. You can stay right here or start to lift the hands off of the back. Straighten the arms as much as possible. If you need a little bit more space in the shoulders, you could grab a belt or a strap between the hands, even use a towel or anything that's not going to stretch. And then slowly start to fold the belly and the chest towards the thighs. Keep this connection as you keep lifting the arms overhead. Let the crown of the head fold towards the feet. And then if you still have more space in the body, you can straighten the legs. But only if doing so doesn't cause you to lose that connection between belly and thighs. Focus on that connection and the stretch in the shoulders and the chest here. Take one more breath. And then with your exhale, release the bind. Hug the body close to the legs. Continue to feel the crown of the head reaching towards the feet. Place the hands on the mat. Step back to downward facing dog. Press through the arms. Let the chest settle back towards the legs. Breathing, letting the chest rise and fall with the breath. Good. Heels are heavy. On your next inhale, reach the right leg high. Press through the left heel. And you might get a nice stretch along the back of that left leg, as well as maybe the right hip. Keep a lift under the left armpit, as if you had a balloon floating there. So the weight is pretty even between both hands. And with your next exhale, step the right foot forward between the hands, lower the back knee, and come up. So you're about equal weight in both legs here. Bring hands together, first fingertip pointing up, Kali Mudra. Reach the arms straight up overhead. Draw the biceps back. Lift the chest. Draw the biceps back, lift the chest. So you're finding a stretch in the front of the body. Not really a back bend. Press both feet down and draw them in towards each other as you sink the tailbone towards the front heel. Use the bind of the hand to pull the arms straight. Wrap the left hip forward. Draw the belly in. Lift the belly away from the front thigh. Kapyasana. Take one more breath here. Stretch the front of the body as much as you can. Reach through the fingertips. And then on your exhale, release the pose. Bring the hands to the inside of the front foot. Tuck the back toes. Straighten the leg. And just use the back toes to press yourself forward and back a few times here. Moving into lizard pose. And my right knee is hugging in towards my shoulder. My arms in the front of my right lower leg are in one plane, one line. You can stay on the hands, you can lower just onto the left forearm. You could lower onto both forearms if you have a block. And you want something sort of in the middle. You can bring the forearms onto the block. And then find one long straight line from the back heel reaching towards the wall behind you. Back knee lifted, thigh engaged. Through the belly drawing up. Chest stretching forward, crown of the head stretching forward. Find that long straight line through the body. Again, if you know any other variations you want to take here, feel free. This is your practice. But today we're focusing on just the basic versions of the poses that we do often in Dharma Yoga. Nothing too fancy here. Well, it doesn't mean this is easy by any account. This means that we're doing the simple versions today. Take one more breath. Make sure all of those points along that straight line are still engaged. And then release the pose. Bring the hands back. If you were on your forearms, step back to plank. And coming on the right hand, outer edge of the right foot, moving into Vashisthasana. Roll onto the right hand, left arm opens up. Maybe you look towards the left fingertips. If that's too much for the shoulder, you can come onto the right knee or onto the right elbow for a forearm plank. So whichever version of the pose you're in, the hips are lifted high. Tailbone is drawing back towards the heels. Bring the shoulder blades towards each other so you can really stretch the chest towards the front of the room. And keep lifting the hips up so you're trying to take weight out of that right shoulder. And the right shoulder gets to do a lot of work here. Trying to just lighten the load a bit. Take one more breath here. And then moving very slowly, come back to a plank. See how long you can last before you need to move the left arm back down. Eventually it comes back to a plank. And you take a breath in, stretch the chest forward. Exhale, lower through knees, chest, chin, or just lower halfway to chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. If you're in upward facing dog, the knees are lifted. Hands press firmly against the mat. Shoulders slide back so the chest can burst forward through the arms. And then return to downward facing dog. Let the chest rise and fall with the breath. Next breath in, left leg reaches high. Right heel is heavy. Find that lift under the right armpit. And try to make the weight even in both hands. Take one more breath, reach through the top toes. Exhale, step the left foot forward between the hands, lower the right knee. And come up. Interlace hands in Kali Mudra. The fingers fold over, first finger points up. Reach tall through the body. First you lift up. Feel one long straight line, tailbone reaches down. Crown of the head, chest, lift up. Then draw the arms back, lift the chest. Draw the arms back, lift the chest. Press both feet into the mat so the thighs squeeze together as you do that. Tailbone sinks towards the front heel. Belly lifts up, away from the thigh. Biceps slide back, the bind of the head pulls the arms long. Feet still pressing down into the mat. Kapiyasana. Take one more breath here. And then exhale, release, moving into Lizard Uttan Prasthasana. Hands to the inside of the front foot. Tuck the back toes, straighten the leg. Slide forward and back. The lower leg and both arms are all in one plane. You can stay here on the hands. You can use the block for your forearms. You can come down just on the right forearm or both. Wherever the hands are, find that long, strong line through the body. Right heel reaches back. Right knee lifts. Belly draws in. That little balloon is underneath your right hip now. Chest stretches forward, crown of the head stretches forward. Focus your gaze on one point, just beyond the edge of the mat. Imagine you're a lizard looking for your dinner. You have to be really still when that bug comes so that it doesn't see you, so that you're ready. Alert but still. Take one more breath. Find the long straight line through your body. And slowly release onto the hands if you left the hands. Left foot steps back. Vashisthasana, side plank. Move on to the left hand or the left forearm, taking whatever variation is best for your body. Maybe dropping that bottom knee. Right side of the body rolls open. Hips arc up. Shoulder blades pull together. Chest stretches forward. Keep lifting the hips up. Lessen the load for that left shoulder. Take one more breath here. And then take all the time you need to move back into plank. Eventually, that right hand needs to come down. You take an inhale, stretch the chest forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, return to downward facing dog. And we'll move into dolphin from here. Coming onto hands and knees. Hands right under the shoulders. Bring your elbows right under the shoulders. Start off by flipping your palms up. And just try to move your thumbs towards the outer edges of your mat. Feel what that does to your shoulders, how it sort of engages a wrapping motion in your shoulders. So it's going to be harder to find that feeling when you're in your dolphin pose. But as much as you can, try to hang on to that feeling. And you can either bring the forearms back down to the mat with hands parallel to each other, or you can make a V with the lower arms, fingertips together. And then tuck your toes, straighten the legs. And just like downward facing dog, but you're on your forearms now. You can walk the toes closer. Lift the hips higher. Press into the hands, press into the elbows, so that your chest and your face slide back towards your legs, towards your toes. And just breathe here. Let the heat build. Focus on the breath. Nice work. Relax the jaw. Take one more breath here. And then however you like, make your way to downward facing dog. You might just press into the hands. You can lower back through child's pose for a breath. And then after your next breath, meet in downward facing dog. And your next inhale, lift the left leg high. Exhale, step the left foot forward. Spin the right heel to the mat. We're coming into warrior one, but just setting up here. Both feet press into the mat. Draw the belly in, stretch the chest forward. So your weight is in your legs now. Right hip is drawing back, or left hip is drawing back, the right knee is lifted. And then just float the arms up. Keep the deep bend in the front knee. The hands can stay wide, or the palms can come together to touch. Gaze can lift. If you feel like you need a little bit more space in the hips, you can wiggle your front foot towards the outer edge of the mat. You can also wiggle the back foot in. Make the pose work for your body. But you should be in a place where the back knee can really lift, the front knee can really bend, and the torso can feel light. Take one more breath here. On your exhale, open to warrior two. The deep bend remains in the front knee. Back knee stays lifted, shoulders are stacked over hips. The left arm reaches forward, but just as much the right arm reaches back so that your torso can float in the middle. Gaze is just beyond the left middle fingertip. Maybe the hips sink just a little bit deeper. Press the feet down. Tailbone down, chest floats up. One more breath here. And then we're going to move from here into a twist. So coming to face the front of the room, plant the hands outside the front foot, come into a high lunge, drop the back knee. As you inhale, bring the right arm up. Exhale, move into a twist. You can use your left hand to press the left thigh towards the midline as the right elbow comes to the outside of the left knee. Press the palms together, make a straight line through the forearms. Turn the chest up. The left knee and the right elbow are pressing strongly against each other. If this feels pretty solid, you can tuck the back toe, straighten the back leg. And now the back heel and the chest are stretching away from each other. The left hip and the chest are stretching away from each other. One more breath here. Pressing through the back toes if that knee is lifted. We're just going to drop the back heel. Return to warrior one. Arms float up. And release the arms. Interlace the hands behind you, just like you did when you were standing with your feet together at the front of the class. Elbows, chest hug, elbows and the back draw towards each other. The knuckles reach for the back foot, stretch the chest towards the ceiling, and then fold over. Head to big toe pose. Your left shoulder moves towards the inside of the left knee. Crown of the head draws towards the left big toe. You could have a strap, a belt, or a towel in between the hands here. Both feet are pressing down. Let the work be in the legs. Let the head, the neck relax. Jaw is relaxed. One more breath. Release the hands, plant them, come into a low lunge. Inhale, step to plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, downward facing dog. I don't think I said it before, but anytime you want to skip a vinyasa, we don't do a ton of vinyasas in this class. You're always welcome to skip them. Sometimes we need stillness more than movement. On your next breath in, lift the right leg high. Exhale, step the right forward between the hands. Ground the left heel. If you know you want a shorter or a wider stance with the feet, go ahead and move your feet there. Adjust them how they'll be best useful for the body. Press the feet down, keep the bend in the knee. Let the body float up. Warrior one. If you can't, keep the elbows straight and the shoulders relaxed with the hands pressing together. Just let the hands stay wide here. It really doesn't matter too much. Focus the gaze on one point, either up at the hands or straight out in front of you. The back knee is lifted. Right hip draws back. Belly lifts up away from that front thigh. Take one more breath here. Float open to warrior two. Keep the bend in the front knee. Let the left fingertips pull you back as the right fingertips stretch you forward. Gaze rests just over that front middle finger. Let the front knee bend just a little bit more. Tailbone reaches down, belly draws in. Chest floats up. Shoulders relax. One more breath here. And come into a low lunge, setting up for our twist. Hands frame the front foot. Come into a lifted back heel. Drop the knee. As you inhale, lift the left arm up. Exhale, you can use your right hand to push the right thigh towards the midline. Left elbow comes to the outside of the right knee. Press the palms together. Straight line through the forearm. Turn the chest up. Right knee, left elbow press against each other. The chest and the right hip stretch away from each other. If this feels pretty good, you can tuck the back toes, straighten the back leg. If the back knee is lifted, it's really lifted. The heel stretches towards the back of the mat. Really press into the ball of the back foot. One more breath wherever you are. Stretch the chest, draw the left hip back. Lift the belly off of the thigh. And then gracefully return to warrior one. Press the left heel down, float the arms up. And then release the arms, interlace them behind you. Palms together, elbows, shoulder blades fold together. Stretch the hands towards the back foot. And then as you exhale, stretch the body forward. Right shoulder folds towards the inside of the right knee. Crown of the head relaxes towards the right big toe. Your hands might be low. You might be up pretty high right here. You're just working towards right shoulder to the inside of the right knee, right hip drawing back, crown of the head in the direction of the right big toe. One more breath. Release the hands, step to a low lunge, back to a plank. Inhale here, exhale lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, return to downward facing dog. And then walk the hands back to meet the feet, folding over the legs. First two fingers wrap around the big toes, bend the knees if you need to. Padangusthasana. As you inhale, lift the chest, lengthen the spine. Exhale, pull up with the fingers, press down with the toes. Let the crown of the head drop towards the big toes. Let the eyes close or soften. Let the skull hold the weight of the brain. Let the brain relax. Blink the eyes open, release the bind, bend the knees, draw the belly in. Slowly ragdoll up, watch the spine come into place, one vertebrae at a time. Until you get to standing. The hands come together at heart center, chest floats up, crown of the head floats up. Tailbone is heavy. Feel the weight through the heels, through all 5 toes. And then blink the eyes open. And come into our balancing postures. Let the weight come into the left foot. Right foot is going to come into tree pose, so you could put the right foot on the shin, up to the thigh, or into half lotus. If the foot's in half lotus and you need the hands to hold you there, totally fine. Keep the hands together at heart center. Press the foot into whatever both feet into whatever surface they're meeting, allowing you to stand a little bit taller. Strong roots, so the tree can grow. Each breath lifts towards the thumbs and the chest. Let the eyes close or soften, focusing towards the tip of the nose. And from here, we're going to move into eagle pose, Garudasana. Take a little bend in the standing leg. Let the right leg just float up alongside it. And cross the right leg, right thigh over the left thigh. Maybe you touch your right toes to the floor. Maybe the heel or the foot floats, or you can wrap it around. Take the arms out wide. Right arm comes underneath. First step, you could just give yourself a hug. Second step, backs of the hands together. Next step, palms touch to wrap. If the hands are wrapping, palms are touching, twist the palms counterclockwise. Whatever you're doing, lift the elbows, stretch the forearms away from the elbows away from the face. Maybe the hips sink a little bit deeper. Take one more breath, and then slowly release, unwind, feet together. Inhale, reach the arms up. And then exhale, hands together at the heart. Weight draws into the right foot. Left foot is light. Tree pose, Vrikshasana. You can bring the left foot to the shin, to the thigh, to half lotus. Hands together at the heart, whatever variation you're taking. Feet press against the surface that they meet. Breath fills the chest, lifting towards the hands. Soften the gaze to the tip of the toes, tip of the nose. Maybe the eyes close. And then start to release the foot from the thigh, just letting the thigh hang out along the right leg. The right leg bends. Stack the left thigh over the right. You can bring the toes to the floor, lift them up, wrap them around. Take the arms wide. Left arm comes underneath this time. Give yourself a hug. Bring the backs of the hands together, or wrap the palms. Let the hips sink. Draw the left hip back. If the hands are wrapped, turn the hands in a clockwise motion this side. Lift the elbows. Draw them away from the body. At the same time, hug the shoulder blades together. Take one more breath. Slowly release. Feet together, hands together at the heart. Interlace fingers, Kali Mudra. Reach the arms straight up overhead, coming into Utkatasana one more time. But just start off by getting long through the body. Reach the tailbone down, lift the chest up, lift the crown of the head up. start to draw the arms back, stretch through the front of the body. Not a back bend, a stretch for the front of the body. Keep the chest lifted, belly drawing in as you bend the knees. Wrap the shoulders towards each other. Press the chest up, hug the belly in, bend the knees even more. Reach through the arms, use the bind of the hands to help the elbows stretch. Draw the arms back, let the hips sink, lift the chest. One more breath, and then release. Let everything fold over. And then plant the hands, step back to downward facing dog. Lower the knees, sit back into child's pose. Hips to the heels. You can take the arms back or reach them forward. Whatever feels more comfortable for your body. Just let yourself relax here. Let the forehead melt into the mat. No work to be done right now. Next, we'll move into hare pose. And reach back, take a hold of the heels. And then lift the head up, or lift the hips up, so that the crown of the head rolls onto the mat. And you should feel a nice stretch across the upper back, shoulders. The belly is really drawing in. The hips are really lifting. If you're comfortable in a headstand, you could do a headstand here, but I'm not going to talk through that today. And another variation of this pose you could take, just release the hands, interlace them, and stretch them overhead. That'll get a little bit more weight on your head, moving towards the headstand. You get comfortable there, and it'll provide a stretch for the front of the shoulders. Wherever you are, let your eyes close. If you're comfortable doing that, focus on the space between the eyebrows. Take one more breath. And then slowly release down. Roll up to a seated position. Just take the hands behind you. Lift the chest, let the head fall back. Just to release any tension in the neck. And then come back up, stretch the legs out in front of you. Move to the top of the mat. We're moving either into shoulder stand or legs up the wall. The first option, legs up the wall, roll back. You can stack your hands under your hips. If you have a block, you can put the block under your sacrum. Just make the shape of an L with your body. If you're coming into shoulder stand, roll back. Take the toes towards the wall behind you. Get your hands towards the shoulders. Reach the legs straight up. And once you're there, take the elbows even closer together so you can walk the hands higher up towards the shoulders. Bring the heels towards the wall that's at your back. You're trying to make one long straight line with the body. Point the toes. Let the eyes close or soften. Focus on the space between the eyebrows. If you're in legs up the wall, stay where you are. If you're in shoulder stand, fold the legs overhead. Bring the toes towards the floor. If the toes don't reach the floor, bend the knees to the forehead. If the toes reach the floor, you can release the hands and interlace them behind you. Close or soften the eyes. Focus on the space between the eyebrows. And then slowly return the spine to the mat. And we'll all meet in fish pose. That's yasana. The hands stack underneath the tailbone, palms down. Lift up onto the forearms. Press through the elbows. Draw the elbows towards each other so that the chest lifts. Keep pressing through the elbows. Hug the shoulder blades towards each other. Press the head up, up, up. Relax the head back. The crown of the head may or may not touch the floor. It does not matter. Let the eyes close or soften. Focus on the space between the eyebrows. Elbows pressing down. Chest opening up. One more breath. Press through the hands to slide your back down onto the mat. Take the arms out from underneath you. Let the body relax. 2 deep breaths. Take a tiny little nap. Draw the legs into the body. Roll back and forth a few times. And as you're ready, make your way to a downward facing dog. You can jump back, move through a vinyasa, or you can just step there. Step your left shin forward, moving into pigeon pose. Right toes tuck underneath you so that you can wiggle that right leg back. The more forward your left shin is, usually the deeper the stretch is for your left hip. So if the left hip is not on the ground, that's fine. You might bring your left foot towards the right hip. That might allow it to be on the ground. You could sort of sit out to the side a little bit, or you could place a block underneath the hip. You're just looking for a comfortable stretch for the left hip here. Draw the belly in, walk the hands back, lift the chest. Inhale here, and then exhale, start to walk the hands forward. And keep stretching through the fingertips. So this is an active pose through the arms. If the crown of the head or the forehead can rest on the mat, rest the forehead on the mat. You could also rest forehead on a block here. The belly is drawing in so that the right hip is rolling towards the mat. The focus settles in the space between the eyebrows. Sometimes in this pose, I take my left hand, the same hand as your front foot, out to the side, just parallel to my shoulder, and really press into that left hand to help ground my right hip. It's not the traditional version of the pose, but it can be really helpful sometimes, just to settle the body. Take one more breath. And then start to work yourself back up. Plant the hands. Step back to a downward facing dog. If you need a vinyasa, take a vinyasa. And on another side, right foot comes forward towards the left hand. Right knee towards the right hand. Left toes tuck. The knee lifts to slide the hips back. Just settling you into a deeper stretch. And remembering that you can bring the right foot as close to the left hip as you need. Walk the hands back as you inhale. Lift the chest up. Lift the belly away from the floor. And keeping that long spine, walk the body forward. Arms stretch out in front of you. Fingertips actively spread and pressing against the floor. Forehead can rest on a block or on the floor. Draw the belly in. Roll the right hip toward or left hip towards the mat. Let the awareness settle in the space between the eyebrows. Let everything else just fall away. The body is doing what it needs to. You've set it up very nicely. If you like the use of the hand to help settle the legs, you can take the right hand out to the side, press it into the floor so that the left hip just rolls down a little bit. I have a wall next to me, so I'm actually just pressing against the wall here. Take one more breath. And slowly roll up. Just roll towards the right leg. Swing the left leg around. Sitting up tall. Staff pose, Dandasana, the toes flex towards the ceiling. Depending on how long the arms are, they may be straight or slightly bent. Lift the chest up. Paschimottanasana, intense Western stretch. So if you're doing sun salutations to the east, the back of the body is the west. It's facing the west side. So start off by bending the knees, taking hold of the outer edges of the feet. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Your chest and thighs are going to be connected, and they're going to stay connected the entire time we do this pose. So how straight you can get the legs is determined by that connection between the chest and the thighs. Lifting the chest, stretching the chest towards the big toes, start to walk the heels away from you. And if your chest and your thighs stay connected, no problem. You might straighten the legs all the way. They might have a little bend in them, they might have a big bend in them. It really doesn't matter how straight the legs are. Either, however straight they are, you'll be getting a nice stretch for the backs of the legs. If the legs are straight, you might reach the arms, and one hand can clasp the wrist of the opposite hand. But that's not necessary. Wherever you are, elbows are heavy towards the floor, chest stretches towards the toes. Take one more breath with that long, straight spine, and then just let the head and the neck round over and soften. And the head can rest towards the knees, it can rest towards the shins. Let your awareness start at the base of the skull, and then slowly travel down the entire length of the spine. Just noticing anything along the way. Maybe a tightness, maybe something that's softening. If you feel a tightness, you might attract the breath to that area to help relax. And eventually, the weight or the awareness reaches the base of the spine, the Muladhara chakra. Imagine the color red there. Red is the color of Muladhara chakra. Take one more breath. And slowly come up. Coming into Ustrasana, camel pose. Come onto the knees. If that's not comfortable for your knees, you can always double over the mat here. Bring the hands to the lower back. Tailbone reaches towards the heels, chest stretches up. Again, a stretch for the front of the body, more than a back bend. Use the hands to press the hips down as you stretch the chest up, up, up. You can stay right here, or you can reach the hands back for the heels. Keep the hips and the thighs lifting forward, the chest stretching up. Head can relax back if that's comfortable for your neck. One more breath here. And slowly release the head as the last thing to come up. Draw the belly in, sit back onto the heels. Take one breath and just notice the effect of the pose on the body, the mind. Blink the eyes open. We'll do the pose one more time. The hands together with the lower back. Hug the elbows together, press the hips down, lengthen through the front of the body. Lift the chest up, 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 up. Maybe the hands reach back for the heels. Chest reaches up. Maybe the head relaxes back. Each breath in lifts the chest even higher. One more breath. And then head is the last thing to rise up. Draw the belly in, sit back onto the heels. With the eyes close or soften, notice the effects of the pose. And then fold forward into child's pose. You can make fists and sort of give a gentle pounding on the sides or the backs of the hips to help release the lower back. Roll up to a seated position again. Let the hips shift to the left, feet to the right, and come into a twist. Hug the right knee in, step the right foot to the outside of the left knee. Really press the right foot down. If your right hip does not stay on the ground when you're doing this, just stretch the left leg out in front of you, and that should help ground the right leg. You can also take that right foot forward towards the left foot to make the pose a little more accessible. Take the right hand behind you, lift the left arm up. Take a breath here. In, get long, tall through the crown of the head, through the chest. Draw the belly in as you twist to the right. Hug the right knee in. You can stay here with the arm hugging the knee. You can take the elbow to the outside of the knee. Each breath in, chest gets taller, crown of the head gets taller. With each exhale, draw the belly in. Let the pressure of the elbow and the knee or the arm and the leg against each other deepen the twist. And the gaze just naturally floats over the right shoulder. Let the eyes close or soften. Focus on the space between the eyebrows. And take one more breath here. And then slowly release. Just let your body twist for a second in the other direction to release the spine. And then switch the cross of the legs. Right foot, left foot steps to the outside of the right knee. If your left hip is off the ground, just straighten the right leg out in front of you. You can even take the right foot down towards the right knee, or right foot towards the left ankle. Sitting up tall, left hand is behind you, right arm stretches up. Exhale, draw the belly in as you wrap towards the left. Each inhale floats the crown of the head, the chest up. Each exhale draws the belly in, moves you deeper into the twist. You can always bring right arm to the outside of the left knee. Left foot presses down, crown of the head floats up. Gaze naturally shifts over the left shoulder. Let the eyes close or soften, focus on the space between the eyebrows. The spine, an ascending spiral. It's like a barbershop pole. One more breath. And slowly release. Just taking a little twist to the other side. Unwinding yourself. And coming onto your back for Shavasana. Taking any props you like. Maybe a blanket rolled up under the knees. A sweatshirt, socks. Just make yourself comfortable. And then as you're ready, allow the body to relax onto the floor. Let the feet flop out to the side. Let the palms rest facing up. And with your next inhale, feel the entire body fill with air. The chest, the legs, the arms, everything expanding like a balloon. And then exhale, sigh. Let the body sink into the floor. Allowing the effects of the practice to wash over you. Bring the awareness to the left foot. Relax the foot in each of the toes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The lower leg is heavy. Left thigh and hip relaxed, sinking. Right foot is relaxed, and the toes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lower leg heavy. Right thigh and hip completely relaxed. Let go of any tension. The left hand, palm is soft. Relax fingers, thumb, and fingers 2, 3, 4, 5. Forearm, dead weight on the mat. Relax the upper arm and the shoulder. Let them sink. No work to do. The right hand, palm is soft. Relax the thumb and fingers 2, 3, 4, 5. Forearm is sinking into the mat. Relax the upper arm and shoulder. All of the limbs heavy, completely relaxed. Melting into the mat as if filled with wet sand. Relax the entire length of the back, the shoulders, the neck, crown of the head is soft. Release any tension in the jaw. The eyes are heavy in the sockets. The throat is soft. The chest is light, spacious. Belly completely relaxed. The entire body completely relaxed, as if in deep sleep. Leave the body by itself. Leave the breath by itself. Go within. Find the true self. On your next breath in, follow the breath as it begins to bring life and energy back to the body. Watch the inhale fill the space of the torso. And you can imagine that the breath travels in all the way to the tips of the fingers, tips of the toes. And start to wiggle fingers and toes, waking the body up. You might take a stretch with the arms overhead. And in the most natural way possible, just make your way back to a comfortable seated position. Let the eyes stay closed or soft. Let your hands rest on your knees, palms facing up. Bring your focus back to the breath. We'll close with a calming breath meditation. Follow the breath in 4 parts, so let all of the air out. Take a little breath in. Find the space at the top. Little breath out. Space at the bottom. Inhale, space. Exhale, space. Continue to breathe like this, breath in 4 parts. You can imagine it like 4 sides of a rectangle. As you continue to breathe, let the inhale and the exhale get a little bit smaller with each breath. And let the spaces at the top and the bottom of the breath expand. And just naturally allow yourself to be more comfortable with less movement of the breath. Don't force anything. It's moving towards stillness with each breath. The movements might become so small that they're almost imperceptible. close chanting Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shanti means peace. Take a deep breath in. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Be receptive. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.